Your attention, please. And now, on with the show.
Coming from quarantined New York, it's Under the Radar, starring Randy Unger. Brought to you by Magnitude Jewelry. Add a 2 to match your attitude. Tonight, Randy will be reviewing the new film, A Good Woman is Hard to Find, and the Netflix series, Hollywood, with special guest critics, Chris Clemente and Dave Wexler. And now, here's your host, Randy Unger.
Hey guys, this is Under the Radar. I'm your host, Randy Unger, where we talk all things film. And right now I have a lovely panel of guest critics today. I have Mr. Chris Clemente. Hello.
Hello.
And Mr. Dave Wexler. It's been a while, Dave.
Oh, yes, it has. Glad to be back.
How has life been since the last time you were on?
Oh, well, up and down. I moved out of New York City, which makes me a little sad. Moved to Connecticut, and I have more than twice as much space here, and I don't know what to do with it, with all that space compared to New York. But I still miss my 2 a.m. pizza. But the pandemic's been good for catching up on movies and TV, so that's been nice.
That is for sure, yeah.
Have you been doing any frisbeeing at all? Probably not, right?
We just found out the other day that my summer league has been canceled that I've been playing in for over a decade. So there will be no outdoor ultimate frisbee this summer, unfortunately. So I might take up disc golf instead, which is a much better social distancing type of disc-related activity. So
you mean Frol physical?
Yes, Frol physical, casual name, indeed. Yep.
What is that? What's this?
Frisbee golf. It's basically exactly like golf, but instead of hitting balls with a club, you're throwing discs, frisbees, and wherever they land is where you take your next shot from, and you have to get this basket contraption that catches them in the fewest number of throws. Exactly the same.
Like it.
Pretty fun.
I want to do it. I think that's once the pandemic is over, I think the three of us should do that.
Cool. Good to me.
Sure, yeah. So do you have like a 9-iron or a putter or?
They do make different kinds of discs for different kinds of throws. They have putters, mid-ranges, and putters. They have discs that are designed to tail off left or right. Like at the end of the path, it's wild, like how precise these discs have been made.
Wow.
Yeah, some of them you can throw over like 450 feet. They're this kind of like hard plastic that really sails. It's fun, definitely
nice.
Fun.
Wow. I have a sport for everything.
Oh man, Chris, how have you been? I should just thank both of you right now for last night. You were part of my birthday celebration. It was great. It was on Zoom actually. Where else would it be? And there was like 25 of us or so.
Yeah, it's a good turnout.
Yeah, a lot of talking over each other, a lot of chaos, but I welcome the chaos. I thought it was great.
Yeah, that's the fun of Zoom,
And happy birthday to our illustrious host.
Oh, thank you. Birthday, Randy. And Chris, how have you been since last week?
Same old. I think. What day is it? I don't know.
I don't know.
Where are we? I don't know. But no, I can't complain. Just a lot of movie watching, a lot of binge watching, and just planning one day after the other. What could you do?
Yeah. Well, as long as you guys are safe and sound, healthy, that's really all that matters.
Yeah.
And if you could throw on a movie or a good TV show, then all the better.
Yeah. No, there's been plenty to watch. And we'll get to it with these reviews, but some good findings on your part, and some comparison pieces I would love to kind of intertwine with your selection this evening. Yeah.
I'm excited about that.
Yes.
So why don't we get right into it? Review number 1 of 2 today. A Good Woman is Hard to Find. And this is an Irish thriller about a recently widowed young mother who basically she's trying to protect her 2 children while at the same time trying to find out who murdered her husband. And basically this quest for discovery / revenge, a little bit of revenge there. Takes her to some pretty dark places, some very violent places. And Sarah Bulger, who plays the lead, I thought she was great. And I was actually really surprised at how much I liked this movie. It was so intense, and I wanted to really see where it was going to take me. So, how about you, Dave? What did you think?
Yeah, I liked it on certain levels. I thought it was a little lacking on some others. For example, to me, the whole kind of theme of the movie was about her finally standing up for herself in certain ways. Like it was very early, it was established very early on that she kind of gets trampled by everyone from, you know, the security guard at her grocery store to her mother, and kind of really doesn't do much to stand up for herself. I thought it was very clear within the first 10 minutes or less of the movie that was going to be kind of her character arc. But then it took another 75 minutes to finally get her to a point where she actually did something about it. So there were definitely parts along the way where I was kind of like sitting here like this, tapping my, you know, fingers on the desk. Like, is something going to change? But aside from that, like with what she was given, the lead actress did a fantastic job of getting those things down. She's very both charismatic and meek, which is kind of what the role called for, at least meek for, you know, the chunk until she did stand up for herself. And then when she did, it was, you know, she did a very good job of mixing in that, like, you know, it's not like superhero or like action hero kind of, you know, confidence. It's more like that nervous confidence that you get after you haven't stood up for yourself for so long, you almost don't know what it's like. Like that feeling, I thought she did so well that it really made, at least from that character's point of view, the change when it finally happened very believable.
Nice.
And I really like that. There were some other things kind of plot-wise that I found a little kind of convenient. Like she didn't really do anything herself to further the revenge part of things. It kind of fell into her lap, which is sort of on the writing side of things as a criticism. But
like a
what
little over the top in some parts.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
Yeah.
So I don't want to give too much away, but there's a scene involving, you know, body parts. That's just it was a little much. I kind of liked it. I thought it was really well done in that respect. But you know, I mean, it had a weird tone about it. Like it kind of wanted us to like think this is kind of humorous in a way, you know. But I thought, again, Sarah Bulger, lead actress, definitely want to see more from her. She actually reminds me of what was it, Ellen Pompeo from Grey's Anatomy. I don't know if you guys know that actress, something Pompeo.
Never actually watched Grey's Anatomy either.
Yeah, she looks like almost exactly like a younger version, but that's a side note.
Cool.
Clemente, any thoughts?
You know, I'm online with you guys. I think I might like it a little bit less than you guys. I found that there was a tonal discrepancy throughout the movie. I was waiting for that character shift to happen, and I think for me, I never really believed that she was capable of being up for the challenge of revenge. It seemed like she was kind of plopped into it, and it was interesting to see that, you know, as a mother and as a wife trying to seek answers and seek revenge, that she was kind of put into this situation. That part was interesting, but it never really allowed me to believe that she was really up for the challenge or capable of being up for the challenge. So it was hard for me to kind of believe that she would execute on this, and it seemed almost like it was a little bit force fed into, you know, what was happening and the choices that she was making, and, you know, kind of the brutality that was happening throughout the movie. So it was kind of a little bit unbelievable for me. And I wanted to like it more. I thought there was some really good acting on Sarah's part. I think she was probably the best thing out of the film.
Yeah.
But I think just story wise and tonally wise, there was something a little bit off. The concept kind of reminded me, I'm not sure if you guys ever saw Turn the River, which is a great, it's actually a billiard movie. I'm a big fan of billiard movies, and it's actually a mother who is trying to find her kidnapped daughter. So she actually goes through these loan sharks and goes through these challenges with playing pool in order to find her. And it was a similar concept in which, you know, she's kind of put in this situation, given the skills that she has, to kind of fight and get her daughter. And that I thought was, you know, not to compare the two and say, hey, this is the movie that we should have gone, but, you know, comparing the two, that character was kind of believable in that role. And, you know, the fact that she had some skill or, you know, something equipped in her that could actually lead her to actually save her daughter was somewhat redeemable for the character's sake. But I didn't really believe that in this case. So I wanted to like it more. I respect the thought and the concept around it, but I was a little bit disappointed towards the end.
Yeah, it was kind of off in that respect. You had this regular girl. She just wants what's right for her kids, but she really went into a really twisted, dark place, and it was a bit on the side of almost ridiculousness. But I mean, it's more of just I guess this is more of a guilty pleasure type of movie.
It almost felt like they were trying to go the Taken route, just with not the fact that there's trafficking involved, and the fact that there's a murder involved, but unfortunately the woman didn't have any skills to kind of match the situations that she was in. So but good concept though. I give it that concept. What makes it a little bit redeemable for me is the fact that this is a unique concept and we had some good acting in there. So
yeah. And also I was reminded of Amy Ryan's performance in Gone Baby Gone.
Good one. Yeah.
Seeking justice and doing pretty much whatever it takes to achieve that goal. So I got like a young Amy Ryan in this film.
Okay. I see that. Yeah.
I'm not sure I see the whole like do whatever it takes part of things though, because she really didn't do anything until the very, very end.
Right.
She'd go in and ask the police like, "Oh, any updates?" And they'd say like, "Just let it go." And she'd be like, "Huh, okay," and just go home. And I thought that was a part that the script could have kind of improved on a little bit, like a little more agency somewhere in the middle there.
A little more tightening in the script would have helped.
Yeah. And then I think they also kind of missed out on an opportunity for Tito as a character, who kind of first comes into her life and sets off the plot of the movie. He in the end felt very one-dimensional,
right?
And like I really got the impression they were trying to set him up as like a real character to develop, and they could have developed a very interesting interplay between Sarah
and even him. A slight romantic interest in that respect.
I don't even know. I don't know if you'd have to go romantic interest, but at least some sort of like common ground. And it really felt like they were going to start going that direction, and then they just kind of didn't. And then that led to kind of like what Chris was saying, sort of one of the more unbelievable parts of Sarah's character arc, I think. Which,
yeah, and I think from the trailer, I got the impression that Tito, or was it Tino? Tito,
yeah.
I thought he was going to be more of a central role in it because he was prominently placed in the trailer. So. That was a surprise.
They're totally building him up that way at the beginning, and then it just felt like it kind of didn't deliver.
Yeah. And it's a shame too, because the start of the movie really starts with a bang, and I was instantly hooked. And I think, like you mentioned, Dave, like it just kind of flattens until the very end, where I think it was just a cop out, where they just answered some questions, put her into some situations that made sense for what was going on, and then ended it, kind of abruptly.
Yeah, I agree.
So, guys, so before we move on, what are some other like revenge type films that remind you of this? Like, what are some superior? A Good Woman is Hard to Find.
It's funny you mentioned revenge. I saw the movie entitled Revenge not too long ago, one from 2017. I don't think it was produced in America, but it was mostly in English. I don't even remember the name of any of the actors' names in it, but I don't remember where it even came on my radar. I think I saw a trailer at an independent movie screening at some point, and it
2017, you said?
2017, yeah.
Okay.
It got very, very good reviews. I think its score on Metacritic as well was over an 80, and I managed to finally find it. It was hard to find in the first place, and watch it recently. It's very, very interesting and very, very gritty. Kind of equal gore level as this one in many ways, but I thought that the character arc and the delivery of the plot of Revenge was way better. And they titled it after it, and it was done very well.
That's a series.
What's that?
It's a TV series.
No, it's a movie.
Oh, it is a movie.
There is a series called Revenge too.
Right.
But,
and there's also a Kevin Costner movie named Revenge from the 1990
place. Yeah. Let me see if I can find some more details for you real quick.
Okay. I mean, for me, in the last decade or so, I think Taken with Liam Neeson, the first Taken,
Mm-hmm.
a very fine example of revenge storytelling.
Oh, sure, yeah.
I mean,
I did get a Taken vibe towards it, but and that is the superior version, the first one. Yeah.
Chris, what are some of is there a revenge film that sticks out for you?
Yeah, I think like I mentioned, Turn the River, I think just has some interesting parallels to this. It's not so much revenge from murder, but more of revenge from kidnapping. Almost, I think you can kind of see parallels to Taken with that too. And it's just a really good. It's a really good film. I'm a sucker for billiard movies. Like I'm big into The Color of Money and Hustler and that, and Crazy Eights is a good one if you haven't seen that one.
The Whole Junkies.
Yeah, that's a good one too. So I could just be a sucker for that, but there was some really interesting ties to that. Actually, thinking about that movie more, I haven't really watched it in a long time. It is kind of like almost a cross between like Winter's Bone and Taken. It's a good.
Wow.
There's some good parallels in just the vibe and the cinematography and the setting, and it has one of your favorites, Randy. Rip Torn is in that one too.
The late great Rip
Torn. Yeah. He
was so good.
Yeah.
All right.
Just watched Dodgeball not too long ago. Yeah. Is
it a good idea to drink my own urine? No, but I like the taste, and it's good for you.
You're as useless as a poopy flavored lollipop.
No, my favorite is the Larry Sanders Show. That's actually inspiration for my show. I don't know if you guys are familiar.
Yeah, I know your love for Gary Shandling. So yeah.
But also the late Gary Shandling.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. So,
I found info on the revenge movie I was talking about. It's called Revenge, directed by Coralie Fargeat, also written by her, starring Matilda Anna Ingrid Lutz, who I think is Spanish. I think she's from Spain, I think. I don't remember exactly. But yeah, it came out 2017. Basic plot is she's kind of a young, pretty girl, like kind of traveling the world, meets up with a French guy and like some of his friends, and they take her out to this sort of very remote, like luxury house in the middle of the desert, which is like a hunting lodge. And like, so something bad happens between her and those three guys, and they basically decide to off her. But she survives and just kind of survives out in the middle of the desert, and through the course of the movie takes revenge, as one might title.
That sounds good.
There you go.
Very, very interestingly put together. Very, very
it's Spanish language?
No, it's mostly English with some French in there, but it's subtitled in English. It's produced in America.
It kind of got The Bride a little bit out of that synopsis. So
Kill Bill.
So there you go, Randy. Another good one, another revenge one. Kill Bill. Yeah,
definitely.
That's a very good comparison.
I'm not the biggest fan of the first Kill Bill, but I think the second one is really, really good. The scene where she's in the coffin underground. That scene always gets me.
I love both. I actually lean towards the first one a little bit more.
Okay.
But
they're both very, very different stylistically, but they work.
Yeah. I'm hoping that he makes the third one. This is my hope for Quentin Tarantino, since this is technically he's going to make his last one, right? So technically, he already made 10 films, right? So, but he counts Kill Bill 1 and 2 as one film,
right?
So the hope is let him create Kill Bill 3, group that as just one with 1, 2, and 3, and then we'll get another movie with him.
I could even see it as a mini-series, to be honest, like a Kill Bill the series, and kind of go back and forth in the timeline a little bit.
Yeah, I'll get as much Quentin as I can get. I think he's planning to do mini-series with the whole Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
That's right.
Yeah, he wants to do what's the Leonardo DiCaprio's character? What was his show?
The Western?
Bounty Law.
Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently he's in talks with Netflix to create a a mini series around an actual TV show called Empty Law. So
That's awesome.
that'd be
And
cool.
we'll be back to review that when it's out.
Oh, sure, absolutely, yeah.
So one of the few criticisms I have for this movie, the title, "A Good Woman is Hard to Find." They could have done so much better.
Yeah,
But
I didn't think it fit with
Kind of wordy, yeah.
yeah, it's a little much and doesn't really fit the tone.
Yeah.
You're
Is
good
there-
with one-liners.
I know.
Randy. What would your title be?
A Woman Scorned, or woman with a purpose. I don't know, something like that. Something a little tighter.
The only thing I can think of is that it might be like in reference to some kind of local colloquialism from Ireland that we just don't know.
Wow.
Like
I
I didn't think the title fit. The
Yeah.
movie either.
I didn't really research the title, but I think the producers could have done better.
Yeah.
But-
That's funny. I think it's the second week in a row. It's an Irish-based movie.
Right.
It's kind of a weird title. Yeah.
Dave, last week we reviewed The Etruscan Smile with Brian Cox, and actually no, that was Scottish, Chris.
Scottish.
Yeah, that was Scottish.
Oops, sorry.
And basically, he's a very sick guy. He's in his 70s, and he wants to go to San Francisco to both reconcile with his estranged son, and also get treatment at a facility in San Francisco. And along the way, he connects and bonds with his family and his daughter-in-law. And it was really sweet story.
What was the title again? You said
It's a weird title.
Exactly. Exactly.
The Etruscan Smile. I still don't know what that is.
Etruscan, like with an E, because
Yeah, Etruscan.
the Etruscan people are from like northern Italy. Like I don't know.
Oh, really? Yeah, this is a Scottish guy. So
Yeah.
They ain't from San Francisco. I know that. But
yeah, but that wasn't even the original title. I think overseas it was called Rory's Way, if I'm not mistaken. But
Which I love that better. So.
yeah, it's a much better title.
Yeah.
And Chris, you're a writer. You're into filmmaking.
Yes.
Have you titled anything yourself that you've done? I mean, I know Foreign Nationals. That was
Yeah, I mean, I've ran scripts and I've titled those, of course. So
Okay.
yeah, and we've spoke about them before, but just spec scripts. I actually talking about billiard, and it's a good thing about the pandemic is that it's allowing me to write a little bit more. So
nice.
and ironically enough, I'm writing a billiards movie that's more of a Western billiard type of mashup a little bit. So it's a Western. Yeah, it's a Western that kind of has elements of billiards playing in it. And now I am stuck with the title in that. So it's untitled right now. So yeah,
How about 8 Ball? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Well, there's 8 Ball in there, but also there's some British influence too. So and they play 9 Ball. So
Oh wow, okay.
yeah. So I don't know.
Are you still are you still tinkering with the script, or do you
I'm just outlining right now. So
Okay. Cool.
so I haven't gone up to a first draft yet. So
You haven't approached Bradley Cooper yet for the lead?
a good one. Yeah. Not yet. That's
No.
unfortunately he's so big right now. I have to go towards his agent and
Yeah.
all that stuff. And now I'm scared to approach his agent, given what I now know about Hollywood, given the series on Netflix. So.
Indeed. But before we get into that, I just wanted to ask you guys: a good woman is hard to find. See it, skip it, or Dave, is it on your radar at all?
I'd say see it if you know what you're getting into and are like down for that kind of thing. If don't see it on a weekend.
Yeah. Viewer
I love
discretion is
that,
advised.
Yeah.
Chris, see it, skip it.
I say see it. Like we have plenty of time now, so go ahead. Go ahead and watch it. It's not something that I would say, oh my God, this is pointless or it's dull and I think given the right audience, I think some people might appreciate it. I think given and it almost ties into last week's episode too, Randy. Given the the Me Too movement and given what's going on in the industry, I think there's something there to take out of, some message to take out of.
Yeah.
It's funny actually, going back to the title.
Yeah.
it feels like there is some humor there in the title too,
Okay.
right? Because like we're saying tonally, there's some it's a little brutal, yet it's a little humorous, and
Right.
that phrase, it is hard to find a good woman. That's usually like just a nomenclature, just a standard expression, in
Yeah.
society. So, I think, I think it almost plays on humor because this woman is seeking revenge in a kind of brutal way. And, is she good? Is she not? Is she right for seeking revenge? So it's almost, I think there's some humor in there. So
So
that's interesting.
it looks like you like the title.
No, because I forgot it midway saying the title. I'm like, is this the right title? I don't even know. So that's bad.
Okay. But still check it out. We got plenty of time.
Check it out, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say check it out. It's on the radar, but it's not a bullseye for me.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I've subjected you guys to a lot worse in the past, so yeah, this is a winner in my book.
Yes. Exactly. That's a good point. Yeah.
Yes. All right, guys. Well, we're gonna take a short commercial break, but we'll be back with our second TV show review right after this.
Under the Radar is brought to you by Magnitude Jewelry. Add a 2 to match your attitude. Patent pending interchange genuine gemstone and crystal EMF protection jewelry. For more information, please visit magnitudejewelry.com/gemgirl or call 718-268-6634.
And we're back. Hey guys, this is Under the Radar. I'm your host, Randy Unger, where we talk all things film. And right now we are going to talk about our second bit of content. It's not a film. We did one film today, but the second review is actually a TV miniseries now on Netflix. And it's called Hollywood. And it basically follows a bunch of young, aspiring actors and a screenwriter who want to make it big in Tinseltown in the era of after World War II. And basically, a lot of them get themselves into some sticky situations sexually. There's a lot of sexual harassment going on in the business. And this is in the late 40s, and it's still happening today. And yeah, so this is basically a really interesting series which focuses on a very important time in Hollywood's history. They've taken some liberties with the story, with the facts. There's Rock Hudson in there, Vivian Leigh, but they're all kind of fictionalized versions of themselves. And it works for the most part, but there are some cringe-worthy moments. There's actually in the first episode, actually guys, yeah, we're going to review the first 3 episodes. And the first episode has quite a bit of gay sex, heads up. There's a lot of nudity in the first episode, and
just the first episode.
Well, mostly the first episode, but I think by the second and third, for all our review purposes tonight, things got a little more tame, and I'm very grateful for that because there's really good stories in this series, and I really want to see more. So, I was expecting Entourage, but I was a little disappointed by not getting what I wanted. But I still got a decent story and some really good actors in the process. So, Dave, thoughts on episodes 1 through 3?
Yeah, I thought it was very up and down. I know we were talking slightly before we got on the air about the art direction. I think that's probably its strongest point. It looks utterly beautiful. It is very well shot. The colors and the color contrast is popping. It really captures the sort of vibe that people of our age expect from things from the 50s. It is really beautiful that way. I think the acting is very, very good too. It matches. The casting is very, very good. But to me, like in the end, I kind of got this sense that it's kind of putting a nice gloss over a soap opera. Like it seems like a lot of the the kind of background stuff is stuff that feels very kind of manufactured and forced to like create drama for the sake of creating drama. Like it feels like very cut and dry that way. Like everybody who has a shred of power in this universe is a total jerk, like abusing power and abusing people under them because they can. Like apparently every single football player at USC is a male prostitute. There's like there's just certain things that are like very like, let's slap a label on it and not have it really changed, and then just throw it all in a jumble and mix it around a little bit to create. I feel like there's a lot of that going on. Honestly, in that regard, not directly stylistically, but sort of in that vibe, it actually reminded me a lot of like Gone Girl or The Girl on the Train, where it's like kind of like this sort of, I want to say trashy, but that's like that does a little injustice. Like just soap opera sort of plot contrivance under a nice sheen on top of it.
Right.
That's kind of the vibe I've gotten from the first 3 episodes so far.
Yeah.
Say that there are soap opera plots that keep a lot of people watching, and like I still want to like see where all the storylines go, since they do a good job of kind of interweaving each character's original story and mixing them together. The main characters that they're following most of the time, their story arcs are interesting enough. It's kind of everything around them that seems a little forced to me. So I do kind of. I
think it would have been a lot better if there were maybe 2 or 3 less characters, and they would focus the stories. They would be a lot stronger in that respect. I think there's kind of like too many cooks in the kitchen in this respect. I mean, really good characters here. I mean, I even after a few episodes, I like Jim Parsons' sleazy agent.
He was one of the best performances in the whole show so far.
Yeah,
much so. Yeah,
he's definitely one of the more surprising parts of the show. I mean, I agree what you guys are saying. I think, Dave, you were spot on to say that it's a soap opera-esque type of feel with a nice sheen to it. Cinematography, art direction, it's beautiful. I feel like I'm in the 40s, 50s. I feel like I'm in old Hollywood. I do feel, that they're going through a change in this golden era of Hollywood, from a more silence era type of era to a more natural type of acting era. And the fact that it's more natural, it's more realistic, it almost brings about a justification for all these misfits, these gay and minority and these country boy characters that are trying to make themselves big into Hollywood. I think it's just this band of misfits that are trying to make it big, and I think that's interesting.
Yeah.
But this is where I think I disagree a little bit from what you said. I think that the character development, the character arc is, you could sum it up in 20 minutes, and I think they're trying to drag it out for 3 episodes now, and it's getting to a point now where I'm losing a little interest. And unless something changes, I might, it might fall off my radar completely. The shock value of, as you say, Randy, the homoeroticism that is kind of interwoven within it makes sense. It's a definitely real thing, especially the elements that forces characters to do certain things that they're not really used to. But again, they mention it, they show it in the first episode. They're kind of making it linger, and to me, it kind of just falls flat after a while. It kind of loses its luster after a while.
Right.
So I'm kind of interested in it kind of, creating a faster pace. Not to say that it's a slow burn. I don't think it's a slow burn. I just think that, they're really, really dragging the setup for the sake of saying, hey, like, these characters are going through a lot, and, they're experiencing so much struggle.
Yeah.
And, to talk about some of the other stuff that I've been watching on Netflix, something completely different, Unorthodox, is something that I've recently binge watched the first season. And that is a slow setup. It's nothing earth-shattering, as far as, well, it is earth-shattering in the sense that, the character is going through a big shift in her life, but the setup is something that, once explained, you could say that you understand the character and what she's going through. But the differences between the two shows is that character, you want to know, how she's going to struggle and how she's going to change her life. For these characters in Hollywood, after a while, I see myself not caring about them, and something really has to happen now, or else I believe that the show is not going to be lasting that much longer.
Yeah,
So,
and I'll be honest with you guys. I actually binge watched the whole thing the other night.
yeah,
And
Yeah.
it kind of stays the same on that level.
Yeah.
Not a lot of surprises, sadly, but I did kind of care where these characters were going and what was going to happen to them. So, and I think that's a testament of any good series. So, kudos on them.
Yeah.
But you know what? They over dramatize the homosexuality and the racism. It's like, come on, we get it, Like they don't have to.
Well, not to say that it's not a real thing, and that it's a struggle for them to make it big. To kind of put people against their will, and try to hide who they are. That's a very real thing, and that's a sensitive subject that I don't want us to gloss over. It's something that is important, and kudos on them to really shed a light on it. And I think that's the big takeaway and the positive message for this show is that you think, it being a Hollywood production, Netflix is a juggernaut now. You think that anything that's, termed Hollywood is going to, portray itself in the most positive light, and to kind of say, hey, like, no, these are bad things that happen, and look at what these people have to go through. I think, kudos on them on pointing it out. So I want to make sure that we're not hovering over or glossing over, the fact that these are very real issues that still exist today.
Yeah.
But but like I think we've been mentioning, like I think it's not something that could really hold a show up if you don't really have more of a story structure and more of a plot device that will drive the show forward.
And I'll tell you guys, so this was actually created by Ryan Murphy, who has done Nip Tuck, Glee, American Horror Story, Scream Queens, Pose, and 911. So I might have seen 1 or 2 episodes of Glee. I know it's very popular, but he has a pretty good track record in terms of stuff he's produced. So
I was going to say, I thought that in terms of kind of drama feeling forced and feeling soap opera, I thought some of the drama that really struck home and seemed more genuine was actually the stuff about race relations and the oppression of homosexuality in Hollywood at that era, and kind of, but like sort of how like there were very powerful people who could get away with it or could kind of control things behind the scenes to let their world come through. But at the same time, then there was like the overdoing it of like, oh well, we're just going to kind of force Rock Hudson to be a prostitute into all of that, and like really not have him complain very much. Or same thing with Jack, like they seem to be forced, like you were saying, like Chris, like characters being forced to do things against their will, like that often creates good drama. But it seems like in this production Hollywood, they're like conflicted over it for about 10 seconons or so, and then so they're just kind of that to me is what feels glossed over. Like, focusing more on the real conflicts that existed in the real world at that time about race and homosexuality and power dynamics, and they seem to be kind of glossing over the drama about that to create more sort of forced things people together.
So do you think it's more of a generational thing, like to be put in that situation where you have to be a prostitute, or what? You think there was more choice or less choice in that matter, Dave?
I just mean that the choice that seems portrayed is not, it doesn't seem to be like handled with any sort of real human, conflict within each character. Like they're just sort of rolling along with it. Like, it's something that seems very, very contrary to what any person would do in those situations.
Right. And I mean, and to a certain degree, and look, I don't know because I haven't been put in that situation, but I do think it's a known thing where, especially in that era where it was so hidden and suppressed, where people just, if you want to make it big and if you have, becoming a star in your head, you're going to do what it takes, and if you have to drop your pants or, bend over, you're going to do that and shut up because you want to make it big and you want to, in a sense, sleep your way up to the top, so.
I guess I would have at least liked to see the characters deliberate over that a little bit and kind of feel
and
something.
that's the thing too, like the main character, I forgot his name, the actor, he didn't, like, his moral conflict really stopped like for 5 seconds. He was like, oh, but I'm married, well, you have to provide. I'm all right, sure, so then he just goes ahead and goes through it, and then it took the third episode for the wife to come back and have a little bit of a conflict, but it felt like, I really don't care about this character because he doesn't care about the moral indignity that he's going through, so why should I care about him? Exactly. For me, I think the better storyline is with the director of Peg and his girlfriend, and actually just the making of that movie. I think there is that underline where even from the executive level, they realized that they shunned an Asian actress from winning an award, and they actually want to do good and rectify that because they don't like Ace. What's his Castle Rock guy? What's his name?
Castle Rock guy. Ace. Wait.
Yeah, who played Ace?
Oh, that's
Rob
Reiner.
Yeah. Rob Reiner. Meathead. Yeah, Meathead. There you go. Without him, you wouldn't have Seinfeld, for crying out loud.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, it was kind of like an F you to him, type of thing. So, that's interesting. And you have all these misfits where individually, if they are trying to make it big, it's not going to happen. But if they kind of band together, you have the Asian director or the half Asian director, you have the minority lead actress potentially, you have, gays that are, involved, you have a gay screenwriter that's involved. So like, in a weird way, this blockbuster that's coming up, is a hidden suppression message that the studio itself doesn't even know about. So that to me is kind of like the driving force, and not necessarily the individual characters. So in summation, I think the sum is actually greater than the parts for me right now.
I actually really, really liked Dylan McDermott's performance as the pimp. I don't know about you guys.
The gas station.
Yeah. They developed a little bit more later on, but I think he had he out of everybody, he had the more lasting impression for me. Yeah,
he was a great choice. I was like, oh wow, he usually plays this like savvy, like this suave guy, and now he's kind of playing still charismatic, but kind of sleazy type of guy.
Right.
But he's also kind of like, he's kind of the hero of the story too, because he's really the voice for all the, he doesn't really judge these characters. It's almost like, he's the pimp, he's the den mother, type of guy that, is kind of, keeping them under his wing, which is kind of an interesting character. Almost, it's definitely an interesting premise, almost like what I'm saying for the first film. Interesting premise. I like this series more than I like the last film.
Okay.
But I just feel like it has to do a little bit more now to keep my attention going.
Yeah.
And I think, if we're in this state now where we have time to binge watch stuff, and there's plenty of stuff to binge watch.
Yeah.
And I do think, after 3 episodes, there's better things to binge watch.
True.
Like Unorthodox. You guys see Unorthodox?
Unorthodox. No.
Yes.
You
got to see it.
The last show I actually binge watched. It took like maybe 2 weeks, but all 3 seasons of Ozark. I don't know.
Yeah, I got it. That's the next thing I got to catch up with.
That's at the top of the list of people have been saying I should watch next, basically.
Yeah. That should be on your radars, guys, and everybody watching.
Yeah.
Ozark. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I just finished watching Preacher not too long ago. Finally caught up to the world on that one. It was fantastic.
Is that based on a comic book character?
Yeah.
Okay.
an AMC show based on a graphic novel series.
Now, is that done? Is it? Okay.
Yeah, so 4 seasons over and done with. Not so it doesn't take too long to watch, and it was very
good.
Very darkly comic. I actually found myself laughing to it way more than I was expecting.
Yeah, I remember seeing the billboards at the time and just knowing that it has some producing ties to Breaking Bad, and I was like, "Ooh, this, I got to see it." But there are certain shows that and Ozark, I feel like, is one of them. I'm like, this is gonna take a while because it has such good press and such good, good hype towards it that it's gonna. Yeah, I mean, you gotta just wait till after. Like, I'm kind of waiting on Better Call Saul to end so I could just watch the whole thing in its entirety.
I'm on, I think, season 2. I rewatched season 1, and it's all new to me. And I want more Jimmy McGill. I mean, this guy he's going to dark places, and I want to see where he's going to go next. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And this is a prequel to Breaking Bad. So,
prequel, and it's actually as it goes on, it's actually in parallel with Breaking Bad.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I think, and I haven't been following it closely because I'm kind of waiting to air, but it to end. But I do keep up with the news, and I think they're at a point now where it's going to start to parallel, and they're hoping to get certain actors to kind of come back and do some storylines that interweave with the Breaking Bad.
Oh my!
So
I love it. Dave, are you a big Breaking Bad guy?
I like Breaking Bad a lot, but I'm not one of the people who thinks like, oh my God, this is the best show ever. Everybody needs to see.
Oh my God!
Honest people, like I like.
All right.
I don't know. I think honestly, it probably comes with the TV I watch compared to the movies I watch. Like, if it doesn't have spaceships or magic or something supernatural in it, like interest just kind of has an upper limit. So like, I acknowledge just how amazing of a show Breaking Bad was.
Yeah, but it has meth.
Personally, I'm just not like so diehard into it. So
yeah.
I enjoyed watching it quite a bit. When it was over, it's like, that was really good. Okay, what else can I watch? Instead of like, everybody must watch this show. Like,
all right.
Yeah.
That's kind of.
I am one of those people that just love it. Like,
I don't begrudge anybody who does.
Like, yeah. But I understand. I'm kind of like that too. Like, there's, especially when you're in it, there's so much hype. Like, a good point is Tiger King. There's so much hype towards it that I just didn't want to watch it. I did turn out watching it. Actually, it's funny. I a lot of you guys know that I have a 5-month baby, so like that was actually like early morning feeding. Oh, I'm gonna watch this and like feed my child. And then there were parts where I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be showing this to him just yet. But
no.
All in all, like I was like, like I have no idea why the public likes this show. Like this is a testament of how poor humanity is. We're going down south. Now there's a pandemic and people don't know what they're watching anymore. What's going on?
Well, it's up to us to educate them.
I know.
I haven't watched a bit of Tiger King, and
honestly, I fell asleep during the first episode. I mean, am I missing something?
You know what? It's Joe Exotic, the main character. He is a eccentric guy that he is a 1 in a million type of personality, and I could see the draw, but it's like, okay, it's almost like after the first episode, okay, like I get it, all right, let's move on type of thing. And it's the thing with me is that with that show, like everyone claimed to be an advocate for the animal, for the tigers, for the big cats, for the big wildlife, and for me, like no one really had them in their best interest. So it was a very ruthless show, with people that just after a while you just didn't care.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll be it's on my radar now.
Yeah.
You gave it a glowing recommendation.
Yeah.
Oh,
watch Unorthodox. Unorthodox.
Yeah. All right. That's okay. That's on the radar.
Yeah.
And guys, I want to go back to A Good Woman is Hard to Find. It's actually going to be available on demand and digital on May 8th. So check for that, guys.
Cool.
And guys, we have a few more minutes. Is there anything you want to plug? Any mentions? Anything going on? Dave?
Not really for me. Yeah, I'm unfortunately unemployed during all of this pandemic stuff, so I'm just doing kind of a lot of personal stuff. But everybody needs a UX designer out there, probably get in touch.
Dave Wexler.
Doing some
Plug yourself, man. There you
Do
go.
it.
yeah. I'm a good UX designer. Hire me; it'll be great. Yeah, along the lines of what Chris said, I've been doing not a lot, but some short story writing and prose writing kind of deals. Yeah, so nothing really to plug there yet, but trying to finish up some short stories I either started a long time ago or have ideas for now. That's kind of where I'm at creatively.
Cool.
So yeah,
I want to hear more about that in the future, sir.
Yeah, I'll send you some stories. Tell me what you think.
I love it. Chris, anything you want to plug?
Yeah, just Foreign Nationals, foreignnationalsentertainment.net. And I'm slowly bringing back the podcast, Movie Lovers Podcast. I have about 15 episodes you guys can watch there now. Randy has some of your talent and your voice in our archives. So if people want more Randy, they could check out some episodes there.
Yes.
But yeah, just like Dave, I'm just doing some writing and just trying to make the best use of my time right now.
Cool, guys.
Cool.
All right. And as for Magnitude Jewelry, our wonderful sponsor, with each $50 purchase, it gets you a free mask and free shipping. And over $100 gets a free hand sanitizer. So that's in high demand. So check that out, Magnitude Jewelry. Okay, guys. So I want to thank everyone tonight. This was great. Everyone watching at home. We'll be back with more Under the Radar next week as we review another film, and we're going to continue our review of Netflix's Hollywood. So thank you so much, guys, and we'll talk to you then.